One of the main problems with commercial photography, at least, and it's not the same in all genres of photography, but in the commercial world, is the inconsistency of income. And sometimes the inconsistency is good, and sometimes it is bad. Sometimes it means you've had an obscene amount of money hit your bank account, and sometimes it means you've had an obscene amount of money leave your bank account. The way it works is the cash flow. You have like huge expenses ahead of a shoot that might not pay for 9 months or 12 months or 2 years, as one client did. Or they may pay on time. They may pay lots of money. They may pay up front. It is all over the place. It is very hard in the beginning to financially plan. It is not until you get to a point where you've got enough money behind you that you're paying yourself a consistent salary that you can go, yeah, do you know what? We're all good. And this is where the most important bit of advice I was ever given came into play for me, and that was a side hustle. And it came in at exactly the right time. And it's not just a side hustle, it is many little pots of side hustle. Now, this is not a business advice or a financial advice kind of video. I'm just going to tell you what I do to alleviate the stress of the yo-yoing money. So I have 2 businesses, as you may be aware. I try and be quite transparent about these things. So I think it's important to not have these like hidden things going on in the world, because otherwise, if you're like me and you haven't got a Scooby-Doo what's going on, you get very stressed. You're like, how on earth are they so chill? And then it turns out there's good reasons for it. So I want to give that information out there for free in the hope that somebody else doesn't have the sleepless nights that I had. Now, with photography being so up and down, it's very hard to plan for things like holidays, retirement, that sort of thing, because some years I've made almost all of my money in the last 2 months of the year. Other years I've made almost all of my money in the first few months, and if I'd have carried on that trajectory, I'd have been a millionaire, but it didn't, because it doesn't. It's all over the shop. So here's what I did. Here's how I try and be sensible, try and keep myself sane, and make sure that I can sleep at night like a baby with my cat who's currently staring at me just out of shot. First thing I did was I worked out my base cost of living. Now, this isn't my cost of putting savings aside, my cost of investing, my cost of going out for dinner every night of the week, my cost of having takeaway lunches. This is my bare bones, if I have to get by, drive to work, drive the kids to school, pay for the car, pay for living, pay for food, that sort of stuff. The absolute, I need this stuff to survive money. I worked out what that was, and that was my financial goal for a side hustle. Anything over that, we put into a little pocket should the side hustles go south, and then we can top those pockets up. And here's what I do. I rent kit out. We've all got kit, rent it out. Someone wants to use some kit, rent it out. It doesn't make much money, but bear with me here because this all adds up. I've got a studio. I can rent my studio out. We rent it to clients, we rent it to photographers. Not very often to photographers anymore because Moggy and I don't like stranger danger. But we rent that out as well. So there's a couple of income streams coming in. We then have things like stock imagery. I do have some images that are relicensed as stock. Not many. They make maybe £500 a year. Not really worth writing home about. I wouldn't put any more time into it. But as it's already done, I'll take the cash. You know, and these things all add up. These are small little things. The main thing I do for my side hustle is the YouTube channel. This is my main squeeze, as it were. This is what I do in my spare time. It's Saturday today, and I have to do this on weekends because obviously I have a job in the week. You can't just take away one of your day's photography work and replace it with YouTube. It needs to fit around everything. So today's Saturday, we're in here doing the side hustle. Tomorrow is Sunday. We've got the live call as part of one of my workshops that we've run. So, you know, that's how these things have to fit in around my day job, as it were. And if you have a day job, photography could be that side hustle, and this is where you'd be putting that. Now, alongside the YouTube channel is very consistent in ad revenue. It went through a phase of being really good where it was making like £1,000 a month on YouTube ads, and then it went down to £400. It just sits at £400 now, which is fine. I know what's coming in. There's my 400. I've got my Patreon, which is where we share behind the scenes on big test shoots. So if we're doing something cool and creative, we film the whole day, we do a voiceover, and that brings in a few £100. I think it brings like £280 a month as well. So already you can see with all these little pockets of money, we're starting to get towards that number that we need to get to. On top of that, I do my portfolio reviews, my one-to-ones, and we run the monthly workshops. And that's where the vast majority of the money comes in. And it actually, through many good luck bits, chances, it makes more than I need to make. So I don't have to take on one-to-one clients unless I think there's actually a reason to do so, because one-to-one clients are hard work. It's a lot of work. And if they're not going to actually improve, I get no joy from it. So the money's not needed, so we don't take them on. So I'm in a very fortunate position in that. But all of these things bring in that money. So when a job comes in for a photo shoot and I go, this looks like a nightmare, if I say no, it has no bearing on my day-to-day life. And I cannot tell you how nice that is, and what a privilege it is just to be able to go, I'm really sorry, but I don't think this project's for us. Likewise, when that dream job comes in and it's a huge paycheck and you don't get it, yes, it hurts, and God, I've had there's been a few of those recently where it's been like, wow, this would be a life-changing amount of income for the year, and it doesn't happen. And you know, that hurts, that's hard, it sucks, but it could be worse. Because of the side hustles I have, I don't have to worry. And why would you? What is this weird thing with creators where it's like, if you're a photographer, you must be just a photographer. Only make your money from commercial work. If you don't, you're not a real photographer. Like, what stupidity. In no other walk of life. When I had a day job, of course I had other income streams. I had investments. I had all these different bits of money coming. You want just to rely on your day job income, because if you get fired, if that company goes belly up, what are you going to do? Just go, oh, well, you know, it's gone wrong. You always need to have these different sources of income coming in, if for nothing else than to stop your hairline receding as fast as mine has and your hair going as grey as mine has. My hair went so grey in the first few years of commercial photography, and it must have been from stress because there was no other thing. It is unbelievable. It was like jet black hair, salt and pepper. Well, actually, I quite like it, but not ideal for a lot of people if you're not into that sort of thing. So wherever you are in your photography business, start a side hustle. If you're only making £500 a month in your photography, start a side hustle that makes £5 a month. Just begin now, because you will thank me later. Start it today and just let it build over time. This YouTube channel has been going for 2.5 years. It took the first year to get going, and the only reason it was so quick to get going is because I was already somewhat of a known entity in the industry. If I started my YouTube channel when I started photography, it'd have probably taken 5-6 years to get off the ground. But in those 5 and 6 years, I'd have learned to have done this a lot better than I currently can, and I'm sorry about that. But be patient, I will get better at videos. So this is what I wanted to let you know. I just wanted to show you how you can really alleviate that stress, how you can really reduce it by doing other things. And maybe this isn't your jam. Maybe you don't want to do YouTube or educational stuff. Maybe it's something else. Maybe you want to set up a t-shirt business. Maybe you want to set up a coffee brand. Whatever it is, find something which you can just help alleviate that stress with. Find your baseline cost of living so you don't have to worry about when these pitches are coming in thinking, if I don't get this job, I'm going under. If I don't get this job, I'm going under. Oh my God, I've got to get this job. Then you pitch low, and then they don't go with you because you pitch low and they think you're rubbish. And all of that stuff goes away if you just swallow your pride and go, yeah, I'm doing a side hustle because I don't want that stress. And I think in other lines of work and in other industries, if your side hustle was stocks and shares, or if you're trading or something, people are like, yeah, that's a cool thing to do. But in photography, it's just, I don't know why it's frowned upon. We are idiots. We judge each other unnecessarily over what we do. Like, at the end of the day, if you're happy, do whatever it takes. Hang on. Come on, Moggs. See, Moggy's happy. Moggy's really happy, aren't you? Because she gets to have cat food whenever she wants, whatever she wants. She gets her little salmon treats because we did the side hustles, didn't we? And I think it's worth noting that the internet for photography is a very damaged place. And I think I wrote for F-Stoppers for a while, so I saw a lot of that. F-Stoppers is notorious for trolling comments. But even on YouTube, Facebook, DMs I get, it is such a toxic environment, and my advice would be just to ignore all the other photographers. Like, do you, make yourself happy, make yourself comfortable in your life. Don't worry what other people think. I would never judge another photographer for going, do you know what, at the weekends, I run a cafe. It's a little bike truck with a coffee thing on the back of it, and that makes me enough money to pay my mortgage, my bills, and my food. And then the rest of the time I'm a photographer. You do not have to be 24/7 photographer. You can do other things. It's not a, if you do anything else, you're not, you know. It's like, take Annie Leibovitz, for example. She is the photographer. She is one of the biggest names in the business. Like her, hate her, whatever, you can't deny she's a big name in the business. She's got loads of other money coming in. She has loads of property investments. She has loads of different income streams. She doesn't just rely on her photography to make her money. And sure, she can make a lot of money from that, but it's inconsistent, it's unstable, and it flits with the winds of fashion and all the rest of it. And, you know, one day she's in and the next day she's out. Nobody would put all their eggs in one basket in any other industry and think it was the right thing to do. So do not make these mistakes. I hope the information I've given you has been of some use to somebody. If you need financial advice or business advice, go and get it. There is no shame in that. I do it all the time. I often speak to people who are qualified to give advice in order to get it, and it just helps me a lot. Anyway, I hope this has been of use. I hope it's been of interest. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.